Hello and welcome to the TMZ podcast. I'm Charlie Cotton.
I'm Charlie Neff.
And today we're talking about Kim Kardashian's sex tape and the impact it had on the world.
Says Ray J, though.
Ray J says it changed everything for everyone.
Yep.
So we'll discuss that. 50 Cent had an interesting photo with Lauren Boebert.
Not on my bingo card.
No, they were like, it was a very handsy type thing, and they're both flirting in the captions. So maybe new couple alert?
Yeah.
Don't know. We'll talk about Taylor Swift and how she was upset about people speculating over whether Lady Gaga's pregnant or not.
Yeah, which eventually Lady Gaga came out and said she's not.
Yeah, that's always problematic to ask a lady if she's pregnant. The answer's no. And finally, we'll talk about JoJo Siwa because she keeps JoJo Siwa-ing.
Yeah, and this time, chomping on her nails.
While driving a car with her face everywhere on it.
Woo.
But to begin with, Ray J, he was on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast, and he opened up about that sex tape that propelled Kim Kardashian to one of the most famous people in the world, him to a famous person. I mean, he's not one of the most famous, but it certainly helped his career. He basically said everything would be different. Let's hear from him now.
You know, I think more of the question is how different would we all be? How different would this whole fucking thing be? How different would the industry be? How different would the wheel roll? Everything would be different. We would all be different. All of us. Everybody in here would be different. We'll have on different clothes.
What you mean?
Everything would be different, meaning like you would never ask me that question. Meaning if we sat here right now and we got to this point, what, like, I don't know, probably more people would be going to college and, you know what I'm saying, getting an education to be successful. There might not be any OnlyFans and other things like that, other opportunities like that.
So what do you think about what Ray J had to say?
I am struggling with this one because, you know, him and Kim, they didn't have the first sex tape, celebrity sex tape. You had Pam and Tommy Lee, which I get how maybe that didn't affect culture, right? He's like talking about like clothes, like we wouldn't have like some of the styles that we have now because Kim wouldn't be famous to make those styles. And he's saying that their sex tape launched what our generation does now. But also with Paris Hilton, she had a sex tape.
Totally.
And she totally changed like the culture at the time. Like everybody was wearing like Juicy Couture sweatpants, the Von Dutch hats. Yeah, I mean, she, to me, like Paris definitely like changed a lot of things from her sex tape or like just becoming famous for nothing, right?
Right.
Which I think she's
famous for famous.
Famous for being famous. But I guess I can kind of see how like Kim wouldn't be where she is today if it weren't for the sex tape.
Is that true though? Do you think? Do you think that if not for that sex tape, Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians never would have been famous?
I don't think they would have had their reality show.
I think they would have worked out another way to be famous. If it wasn't a sex tape, it might have been something else. Kris Jenner is a genius, and if you believe Ray J, Kris Jenner looked over 3 different versions of the tape. Picked this one they shot in Cabo. They also shot one allegedly in Santa Barbara.
So Ray J's always said this was set up, this was planned, but Kim's side has always said, no, we had even filed something. We were trying to stop this sex tape. But at the end of the day, they both had to sign off for it to be released.
Otherwise, they could have sued anyone who put the clip up illegally.
Totally.
So I just think if Kris Jenner is such a genius to orchestrate this whole thing, then this sex tape, whether or not it happened or not, she would have figured out another way, I think, because she's got 3 beautiful daughters who are all engaging and people like to watch them. The sex tape definitely started the whole thing.
Yeah.
But they could have done something else.
But I feel like, in a way, like they became famous, not necessarily because of the sex tape, but because of the TV show.
Yeah.
That's when we got to learn about the family dynamic, all their personalities. Like, if you watched it in the very beginning, it was a little cringe, like the outfits. And, you know, Kim had like a much higher voice at the time. But like, that's what made it good. It was like trash TV.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people really got hooked onto them. No, I never saw the sex tape.
Right.
And like was influenced by the sex tape. But then again, like I'm also not on OnlyFans. So I don't know if maybe an OnlyFans girl would say otherwise.
But Ray J's saying that he's taking credit for OnlyFans. If not for Kim Kardashian and his sex tape, OnlyFans wouldn't exist. He says now, and I don't know if this is true or not, he says how embarrassed he is about that tape now and how horrible it is. Whereas, who would Ray J be today if not for that tape? Like, that's his main thing.
Yeah, but I also don't agree with that because he was already famous before that sex tape. That's why she allegedly chose him, was because he was like a name. He already had a couple songs out. Remember, Sexy Canada, da, 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 da. Like, he had some hits, and he was is Brandy's brother. So he was like a celebrity. Kim wasn't. And now the funny thing is like, we've obviously been covering this interview that he did. I noticed a lot of the articles are like Kim K's ex speaks out. Like now I feel like he kind of like fell off after the sex tape, but she like propelled.
Totally. Okay. On to our next story. 50 Cent went to Capitol Hill. Well, he went to the White House.
Yeah.
And he took pictures with a bunch of people. He was there to sort of talk about how Black people need more representation in the alcohol business specifically. But the only thing that people are talking about is his picture with
photo.
Lauren Boebert. She is the Colorado Republican. She's obviously done some interesting things in theaters, like sexual things.
She's a sexy lady.
And people are saying like, hot new couple alert, these guys would be great together.
Well, because it also kind of makes sense, right? Like she seems like kind of freaky, which is like up 50s alley. And then also like she's kind of his type too, because remember he dated Chelsea Handler and she was kind of like busty, sexy as well. So
and white.
Yep. But Lauren kind of seemed like she was into it. She was like cracking little jokes, like nods to his songs and stuff.
Yeah, they're both flirting in each other's comments. And also the photo they took, I don't know how you take pictures with
This was a hot take. You said this on the TV show this morning, that you can't, as a guy, you can't take a photo with a girl by putting your arm around her waist.
Yeah,
we definitely have taken photos like that. You've never put it over my shoulders.
If you can produce a photo where I've got my hand on your like lower waist, I'll retract everything. And obviously I'd have to. But I don't think that a man and a woman, and this is the first time they've ever met, that when you take a photo together, if the hand needs to be either on their shoulder or at worst, like, kind of on their ribs, I guess, but not touching their boob area. On the lower waist, that's a sexual place to touch.
Oh, Charlie.
It is. I'm sorry.
That's ridiculous.
His hand is basically on her underwear.
Does that get you going? It gets you going as a man to put your hand around a woman's waist. That does something for you?
I just think it's a no-no.
Why? It's a photo.
Well, actually, it's not a no-no because they're both single, but I just think it leads you to speculate that they're both...
Okay, so the hand around the waist is a gateway to sexual relations.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely. You can't do it when you're in a relationship. If you do that to someone else, Johnny, your husband, would have an issue with it.
No, he would not. And I would argue that above, like under the boob holding, that is a little sexual. Like when a guy is like going like for the side boob, that is a little weird.
Well, yeah. Not down with that in relationships either. But also, I think this couple, they're both trolls. Like all they do, both of them, is like attention and trolling. And that is what makes their career right now. If they got together and combined forces, I really think it could be a trolly power couple just going after everybody. It'd be good for both of them and their careers, I think.
Oh, totally. I have a feeling after this, maybe they're like considering, like, oh, maybe that was kind of like something.
Right. They got so much attention that I think, they'll be texting each other now saying, should we go see a movie?
Yeah, I like it.
Do it in the movie theater? Okay, on to our next story. Taylor Swift is coming to the defense of Lady Gaga because photos went viral of Lady Gaga at a wedding, not her wedding, but
her sister's wedding.
Her sister's wedding, and people were sharing them saying, she's pregnant. And so Taylor...
Which is like, you should never do that.
Right.
If someone hasn't said if they're pregnant or not, you should never assume, like, women's bodies like fluctuate, right? Like some days, like I'll have like a bagel here and I look like I'm 500 pounds.
That is just not true, Charlie.
And also like we have like hormonal changes. Like we get our monthly period every month. That makes you blow. Is this uncomfortable for you?
A little bit.
I mean, but these are just like what we go through as women. Like our bodies fluctuate. Yeah. And so just to assume a woman is pregnant, I think is like kind of gross.
I agree. And Taylor does too. She said, can we all agree that it's invasive and irresponsible to comment on a woman's body? Gaga doesn't owe anyone an explanation, neither does any woman. I agree, but also, like, have you met the internet yet? All people do on the internet is speculate and troll and question, and you'll never get rid of, as much as, yes, you shouldn't, inquire whether a woman's pregnant unless she says it first. This is the internet, and that's just going to keep on happening. Sorry.
Yeah, but I also think, Taylor's saying, oh, she doesn't owe anyone an explanation. But, also, maybe Lady Gaga was like, it didn't matter to her to be like, nope, guys, sorry, I'm not pregnant. Because, we haven't said it, but Lady Gaga posted on her social media, she denied that she was pregnant and said, nope, not pregnant here, just crying at the gym, which kind of was a reference to Taylor's song. And they are friends, so that's obviously why Taylor's coming to her defense. By the way, people speculated that Taylor was pregnant too.
Well, I mean, I think that's part of the reason she's jumping to Lady Gaga's defense, because she didn't kind of defend herself saying, guys, I'm not pregnant.
So it's kind of a roundabout way to be like, I'm not addressing what you guys also think about me.
Yes, exactly. Did you also see the story about Taylor Swift that the Sam Heughan, is that how you pronounce his last name?
Heughan, yeah, I think they said.
Sam Heughan, the guy from Outlander, he's shooting a shot with Taylor Swift, doesn't care that she's with Travis Kelce, says that when you come to Scotland, where he's from, where he's shooting the show, the cast is all going to go to the Taylor Swift Eras concert, and, he wants to steal Travis's girl.
I mean, he was obviously joking, but I think this is, definitely the way to, kind of, make sure the girl knows you, right? Just saying, publicly, yeah, that girl, I do like her, I'm interested. It goes a long way. And look, she is with Travis. He's joking oh, she's going to leave him for me. I'm wearing a ginger wig over here. He's cracking jokes about it. But I do think it is effective a little bit because girls are now looking at you with different eyes.
Totally. And this guy is Taylor Swift's type.
For sure.
Historically, more than Travis is. Travis is a meathead. Jock, likes to drink, football player.
Yeah, would be prom king.
Totally. And this guy's a bit more
artsy.
Joe Alwyn.
Yeah.
But kind of better than Joe Alwyn, I would think, in lots of different categories.
Yeah, and he's European. Remember, she was with Calvin Harris. He's Scottish. And then Joe Alwyn, he was from England. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense she likes guys that are not necessarily American.
He just timed the sort of shout out a year too late. Because I think Taylor might have bid
it's never too late. Because you never know. If her and Travis don't work out, then she'll be like, what about that Outlanders guy?
Yeah, that hot guy in the red wig.
Yeah.
Okay, on to our almost news segment. JoJo Siwa was seen driving around in a car that's got about 100 different versions of her face on it. This isn't just a car. This is a Lamborghini Urus, SUV. And she was just driving along, biting down
on her nails.
Her fingernails.
Which, not surprised, checks out she bites her nails.
But, seeing this car, and it's got, JoJo Siwa in big glitter or whatever on it, it just occurred to me that I think she's playing us. All of this,
This is just her thing.
These silly hijinks, loving herself that much and having a car with only your face on it. Either she's, totally, oblivious to what people must think when they see it, or it's part of the shtick that...
For sure, it's
this is why I'm famous. I'm famous for people kind of hating on me.
Yes.
Kind of and she's... If so, I give her massive credit.
Absolutely. I mean, do you remember she was selling all the bows, the JoJo bows?
Yeah.
And she was going on tour with Nickelodeon and all that stuff. I mean, the JoJo bows 1 year alone was so profitable. And then now she's pivoting into this separate adult-ish life. And for her, she's still targeting to that fun, outgoing, obnoxious kind of TikTok world, and she's crushing it. Everyone's talking about that song Karma. It's the most annoying song, but it's kind of similar to the Lamb Chop song. This is a song that never ends. It's just the song. It's so popular, but it's so annoying because it's in your head.
Yeah, it's kind of I mean, a hate click or a love click are worth exactly the same.
1000%.
And so I don't think she cares how the clicks are coming in. Just that they keep on coming in. And so, this is an attention economy and she's got people's attention, love her or hate her. I think that maybe she's just playing us. And if so, congrats. You got me.
Do you think she really dances like that?
I think she's just over energetic at anything and everything.
How does she have that much energy?
I don't know.
I don't think I had that much energy
no,
at that age.
Never. But, I'll just keep watching this space and seeing what she does next and probably scoffing, but,
Yeah.
what does she care?
She's crushing it.
Okay, hit us with your today in history, Charlie.
Today in history is National Yo-Yo Day.
Yo-Yo Day.
Did you ever use yo-yos? They were like super popular here, like back in like middle school, elementary time.
Yo-yos made it right down to Australia, like walking the dog.
Yep.
I like yo-yos.
Okay. They're kind of making a comeback too with kids these days. In 1998, Sex and the City arrived on HBO.
I'm surprised it was that long ago.
Yeah, I know. But remember, they've had like movies and stuff.
And they're still doing it to this day. Didn't we just see Sarah Jessica Parker on the set of Just Like That? Or is that it?
Right, but then oh my gosh, see, I'm so bad. I never really watched Sex and the City, but then there was the one, they're like in a feud, and she's not a part of it now.
Lasted this long. That's amazing. All right.
Yeah. All right, moving on. And then 1933, in the 30s, okay? America's first drive-in theater opened up near Camden, New Jersey. It opened today.
That was all for making out and stuff, like drive your car there, make out.
Yeah. Did you ever go to like a drive-in? You can still go to them today. They're so cute and fun.
Is cute.
Is that like an American thing, or did you guys have them in Australia?
I think it's an American thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Aw, I love that.
Anything else before we go?
Yep. 1983, Reading Rainbow premiered on PBS.
LeVar Burton.
Yes.
I love LeVar Burton.
I loved Reading Rainbow as a kid.
That didn't make it.
All the feels. Is
that right?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
And we'll see you guys here tomorrow.
Bye.